Okay. So, let's see what we have here. And hopefully this audio is more acceptable already. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens whenever we get in game and, background noise and ambience and whatnot happens. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Souls was all about using the right equipment while maintaining your positioning. Reflex simulator. I don't know. I don't know. I think that there's more memorable locations and memorable boss fights in Bloodborne than in any of the Souls games. That's just my opinion. But I've never been too thrilled with Souls PvE. I'm not as enamored with it as some. The storytelling and all that. It's cool, it does its own thing, but I've never been as ecstatic about it as some. Audio levels are great. Wow, okay. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll see about the balance though. So I guess we'll just go with the office. It really doesn't matter. This is kind of a throwaway run. But I think I picked up the key back here and everything prior to saving, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Alright, we're good. I like 3 bosses in all of Souls games, and they're all in Demon Souls, okay. Well, there you go. Demon Souls is such an unoptimized mess, though, man. It's really kind of a mess of a game in general. So, I was just kind of rambling about this the last time, but this is one of those things where I just assume this is a letter from the director here. I mean, we're gonna read the actual letter from the director, the definitive letter, written by the director in the director's office. After we clear the hospital, but the way this guy talks about, the illness, I'm just assuming this is either the director himself or possibly just a staff doctor. But basically, the thing here is, in my mind, I think pretty much everything in this hospital, you could kind of say that about almost anything that James interacts with in Silent Hill, but basically everything here is just a figment of James's imagination, just talking to him. It's like James himself, like an alternate persona of James, just leading himself along here. Like Joseph Barkin. I got the key from Joseph. It's probably the key to that box. Joseph Barkin is probably James himself. Oh, so you do like the lore, at least, of Bloodborne. Yeah, I really love the lore. I love the world design. There's just so many memorable, intricately designed locations that just... It makes everything in the Souls games look horrible by comparison. The amount of effort they put in to Bloodborne was, clearly considerable compared to something like Dark Souls 3, for instance. But yeah, I don't know, like I think I missed this on my first playthrough that I did for the channel. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it's right there in front of you, but very easy to just walk by when you're fixated on something else. But all of these patients, and I was talking about this last stream, but this is something that's really intrigued me as of late. But all these patients, their names begin with J. Jack Davis, Joseph Barkin, Joshua Lewis, James Sunderland. So, really interesting. You can basically glean insight into James himself by reading these descriptions of these patients. You kind of know that James is violent, and he's prone to violence, and he's a big boy. So, he's definitely psychotic. Really interesting, though. I love that note in the office there. So we're going this way. Yeah, the Kanehurst stuff is kind of... I mean, I like the design of Kanehurst. It looks cool. But I'm not too enamored with, the Covenant there and all that. Kind of rip off Vampire Covenant. Hold on a second. Not sure if that noise actually triggers from being by this door or what, but we can stand, all the way over here and it's still gonna play that breathing sound effect. Same one that plays in Woodside Apartments towards the beginning of the game, just before we meet Pyramid Head for the first time. Maybe it's some sort of indicator he's around. Annalise, the thing with Annalise, she has those storylines wherein, she gets murdered and then you can resurrect her. And then when you resurrect her, she doesn't acknowledge that you resurrected her. She just has the same dialogue that she had before she died. She doesn't even mention anything about being murdered. It's, in my mind, a huge oversight in Bloodborne. It's one of those things where it's like they didn't go the extra mile to make sure that there's closure with that quest line, very much unlike them. But that's a mistake in my mind. Possibly. Time, yeah, probably. Yeah, we have these the new enemies here now, the nurses. Yeah, that was another one of those things where I'm not gonna lie, the boss fight's kind of cool, and the music for that fight is amazing, truly. But the fight, it's like the design of the fight, the way he's just a cleric beast, and people were trying to give it a pass because of the way, you know, the second phase or whatever, when he like loses his legs and he turns into like, he's like, you know, his blood is lava. He's just crawling around on the ground. Like, that is kind of cool. Like, that mechanic is cool. I kind of like that, but I still don't like that he's just a cleric beast. I don't understand that. You know, they have plenty of artists. They could have just come up with a new design. Just gotta question why they do that shit sometimes. Wait, what? I think I'm just like paying too much attention to the blood stuff. It's one of those things. It's like I really don't have much, and I'm just talking to you. I'm just talking to one person, so it's like so easy to become distracted playing this game.
Ow!
Giving it, you know,
What's
your full
wrong?
attention.
I just pricked myself.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Got the bent needle. Here's one of Laura's teddy bears. This is another one of those factors where I say that it's more likely that Laura is a spirit. You know, she just happens to leave a teddy bear here with a needle that, you know, we need to fish a key out of a drain. You know, it's just it's a bit much. We need this too. Certainly can't walk off without that. Game is a bit loud compared to you, okay? Yeah, see, here's the thing with this game. There's gonna be scenes, and you know how it is, man. Like when enemies are around, for example, it's just gonna be loud sometimes. And I think in those situations, I kind of just want it to be louder than me. I'm probably not gonna be talking during those moments. But having, I'll turn it down a bit and we'll see how it goes. I don't know, man, maybe. If I was more... I don't think I can... I'm not sure if I can do that through OBS, though. I might have to have something else to do that. If I was more savvy with the software, maybe. in those scenes when the drums are just going crazy, and there's like, you know, if there's enemies around and whatnot, the music's super intense, it's gonna be loud, always. It's really loud for me while I'm playing during those scenes. Got the lapis eye key. And some more shotgun shells. So we can handle this a couple different ways. We could... There's a room. I think if we go in the room at the end of the hall, there's some more shotgun shells for us, which I guess let's check and see. We're not doing so great, but we're gonna pick up some more in the office downstairs. We don't really need to mess with this room. We can try. But this is one of those situations where the chainsaw kind of comes in handy if you know how to use it. I think for now we're just going to avoid that room. We really don't need to. We don't need to risk it. There's a lot of rooms here where there's multiple enemies, like 2 enemies inside. And if you have the pistol in hand, it's a pain in the ass to take one out and finish it without another one, you know, hitting you or hitting Maria. And if Maria dies, then, you know, you have to start over. So it's kind of a pain. I tend to avoid the rooms with more than one creature. Sexual frustration and lust. I mean, a lot of people say that. That's one of those explanations that I hear a lot for. I mean, certainly for every creature design in the game, all of James's creatures, you know, it's an embodiment of James's sexual frustration, and I guess that's true. It's not like it's a lie or anything, but that is sort of the go-to explanation. I think they're a bit more complex than that. You can make a lot of deductions from the creature design and apply it to James and Mary's relationship, but there's a typewriter here. I've got no use for this. Wait a minute. What's this? There's a sheet of carbon paper still stuck in the typewriter. I can still read the imprint left on it. I know it, the secret. I'll give them something to deal with. This demon shelter is of no use anymore. He is my instrument. He must follow my orders, yes. The box will be useless. Now I must not forget it. 8389. That's good. He is the lowest now. I too will be free. And he will serve me. I am a genius. No one can stop me. One can stop me. No one can stop me. Stop me, stop me. No, no. That's a very articulate individual right there. Joseph. We can assume Joseph Barkin. Yeah, I mean, so they all are kind of sexualized. And they all kind of, I mean, some, like to me, the lying figures, the ones that cough at you, that's more of an embodiment of Mary's sickness, the way they're in a straitjacket like that. It's you know, more of a symbolic of her just being stuck in bed all the time, you know, constrained, like not being able to be on her own 2 feet. But they're just naked, essentially, wrapped in a straitjacket of their own skin. They have those boots on. That's kind of sexualized. The nurses as well, obviously. The nurses are, you know, they're wearing that sexualized nurse's outfit. surface level, yeah. Well, a lot of this game is surface level. But there's just a lot, there's a lot of surface level details. An immense amount. We're just gonna kill these because, I think they're gonna stop respawning if we kill enough of them. I thought those stools were mushrooms. She can do that, man. The way you enter a room, she just kind of teleports in front of you sometimes. Okay, so... Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. We can now use that examination room key. Get this really intense background noise here. It just makes me incredibly apprehensive, but there's nothing going on here, really. There's no reason to be apprehensive here. I'm gonna grab a beer. Okay, sounds good, man. No shotgun shells alone are worth coming in here. The pin number this month is T. Last month it was X, and before that it was Z. But what are they going to do next month? That's all they can express with 4 numbers. Anyway, does the door to the patient wing really need to have its combination changed this often? So we get a riddle of sorts here. And the answer is always the same. So we really don't need to read that. But the way we're going to be putting in this combination is going to be on a keypad. So what we're going to do is form a T, if you will, with the number combination. So that sort of narrows down what sort of, combinations we can apply. Let's see how we're doing here. We're doing okay. We're not doing fantastic, but what we are gonna do is we're gonna pull out the chainsaw and try to pad our ammo a little bit once we drop off Maria here. worth killing these things, because if you just... I mean, there's one that spawns right here, and if you don't just wipe them out and make it so where they don't respawn, they're just going to smack you in the face every single time you try to pass through this door. It's just... it's not worth it. I've tried it many times. So we know the combination. We'll cut to the chase.
James. Wait a minute. I'm kind of tired. It's just a hangover.
You should rest.
So comfy.
I'm gonna go look for her. For Laura. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Maria being seductive. But she's clearly emulating the relationship between James and Mary to a T. In this case, she's now getting sick.
I'll be okay soon. Did you find Laura?
I got the roof key. Pull out your peen. Yeah, that's right. She's vulnerable now. Get her, guys. But yeah, Maria as well. She has that flower pattern on her skirt. Not the exact pattern, but a different one. A darker pattern in coloration. It's even on her... I guess it's like a neckband / necklace that she wears. Alright, so we're going to... yeah, it's flowers. It's like a saying, just one prevention, carries less. See what I mean with that chainsaw, though? You can just kind of outspace those enemies. It totally outranges them. And if you just play it very passively, they'll just kind of stop swinging. It's a bit fickle getting the power attack. Sometimes it'll do the fast attack, and it just locks you in this really long, drawn-out animation. And when that happens, you can take a lot of pain. If it happens in the wrong areas. I love this background noise, though. It's just so unsettling. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably just do leave if I can. But I do have the dog key as well, so we could do the dog ending. Kind of skip the last two bosses if we want. But yeah, again, and this is kind of just a throwaway run. I'll stop and talk about things here and there, but it's mainly just going to be playing through the game. We can't do anything with this right now, but you'll probably recall that green, I like to call it predator blood, that was in the butterfly room back in the Woodside Apartments, where we, pick up the clock key early game to do the clock puzzle. There's that green blood smeared on the wall, by the bed. And here's that green blood again, by another key item, nonetheless. There's something stuck in the drainage pipe. The hole is too small. I can't get my hand inside to reach it. Maybe if I had a long, narrow tool of some kind. Alright, well, we have that needle, but we actually need to get the hair out of Joseph's box before we can extract this key from the drain. I wonder what this green blood is supposed to be. If it's just supposed to be, some sort of, it's like moth blood, perhaps? I have no idea. I think we see it one more time. Oh, Lord. That's annoying. Lord, man. This hallway is taxing. And some may say I'm making this harder on myself than what I need to, but I say I'm preserving ammo. Alright, so here we have Joseph's box. There's something written on the wall. Luis, I'll take care of you forever. It's my destiny. Do the mannequins have Mary's voice? I don't know. It may be modeled after the actress's voice. The same actress that plays Mary and Maria. She may do the, she may have done some audio for Yamaoka when he was doing the sound design. Wouldn't surprise me at all. It would make sense. Okay, so we have this elaborate box here. First thing we'll do is we'll take the purple bowl and lapis eye, combine them. Okay, there's one half unlocked. So I'm going to need to refer to the memo here because I really wasn't paying attention. So we are looking for the imprint on carbon paper. There it is. 8389. All right. And we don't really need to do this right now, but we might as well since we're here. Okay, so there's only one lock remaining, and we actually don't have the combination for this just yet. This changes every game. just like the imprint number that changes every game. Hopefully these things are dead now. It seems like it's pretty quiet. I don't want to have to clear out this hallway anymore. I don't think there's one there. There's a save point in here waiting for us. And once we get outside of the hospital, the chainsaw becomes a fantastic weapon for the next little intermission we have in between the hospital and the historical society and the labyrinth and all that. Okay, so we are approaching the next boss fight of the game, as well as another cool moment here. Is there another room I can go in here? I'm not... I think there may be... room. If we go back and we check on Maria multiple times, it'll be more likely that we get the Maria ending. We have every ending now on this memory card, with the exception of the UFO ending. I think... Wait, can I still do that? I think so. No. I think I can, actually. Man, it's been so long since I've done that ending. I know you do it in the room after the Flesh Lips boss fight here. That's definitely one of the places you do it. You do it somewhere like in-game in Lakeview as well. I'm pretty sure this is the first location that you need to do it. That's interesting. I guess I need to brush up on that sort of knowledge, don't I? Did you exhaust all there is to say about Maria's scenario during your playthrough? Probably not. There's not a whole lot to say. It's such a short scenario. You know, even if you stop, and that's kind of what I did during my playthrough on the channel, if you kind of stop and talk about things in pretty much every room, the longest you can stretch it is an hour, thereabouts, really. It's a very small area. I think there may have been a couple things that I wanted to say that I left out. There's a detail in in the Baldwin house. Ernest's daughter in her room. Her name's Amy Baldwin. There's a teddy bear that's on a shelf, and it's super hard to get it, man, because if you walk in the room and you just loot the items and then you start trying to inspect things, for some reason it won't trigger the message. But if you walk into the room without looting anything and you inspect this teddy bear on the shelf, Maria, she has some sort of dialogue that comes up. It's not a cinematic or anything, but, you know, some subtitles come up and she's like, "Oh, look, a teddy bear. Laura would love this." Or she mentions Laura in some capacity. So it's like already, you know, she's already worried and thinking about Laura, even though she has no idea who she is. It's an interesting detail. Doesn't Baldwin have implications in the Silent 1, Silent Hill 3 story? Possibly, man. I don't think so, though. I thought Ernest was pretty... I thought his story was just confined to Maria's scenario. But it's been a while. It's been quite a while since I played through SH1 or 3. I like SH1 and 3, I do, but Silent Hill 2 is a game I love. Silent Hill 1 has not aged well at all, and it's just... The way I would describe a lot of Silent Hill 1 is stiff. Like, very stiff voice acting, very stiff sort of design. You know, Sato, the CG looks amazing still for the time. That's aged beautifully. SH3 is a beautifully looking game, and there's a lot of things it does better than 2, like the riddles and all that. And it's a legitimately difficult game, which I'm not sure I necessarily like in this case, because the difficulty can become insane. But it's not particularly fun to play, and the story is just... There's notes of the story that's good, but the characters are just kind of annoying, man. Douglas kind of ruins the game. He's in it too much, and that character's god-awful. You just shouldn't have such generic, throwaway, stock characters like that in this sort of game. You know what I mean? It just completely... It just brings it down to a level it shouldn't be on. But this is interesting to me, because we have this, again, like I pointed this out. I'm not sure if you were around early on in the playthrough when I pointed this out last. But when we look at this graphic, this drawing of James's journal, his memo pad, it's got this blue binding to it, this kind of pale blue binding. And every single journal we find on the ground like this, it's got a blue binding as well. It's just James's memo pad that he's seeing here. He's like seeing these different manifestations of his own memo pad. And this is one of those things where if we inspect this, it's going to be more likely that we get the in-water ending. But, you know, I didn't do it in that last playthrough because I really wanted the leave ending. That's super interesting. Yeah, I know, man, I know. It's one of those things where, honestly, like, I mean, I knew that a lot of this, you know, a lot of the things in Silent Hill were just James's, you know, manifestations. It's all in his mind. And it kind of bleeds over in some instances. Like, you can see Angela's Silent Hill in, you know, one part of the game. You can see the abstract daddy creatures. So it bleeds over, but it's still based off of, you know, what's in these people's minds. And it just dawned on me, like, you know, the more I play through the game, and these last few times especially, I'll point out something else as well that you'll probably like. But I just started to find things like laying around the game world, like the maps that are marked up, like the same way James marks his maps in these little journals here. And I just started looking at the, you know, the in-game graphics for things, just looking at the colors, and they just all match up, and it just makes a lot of sense when I think about it this way. There's something on the floor. Is this a diary? Like, basically every patient in this hospital is James. They're all modeled after James's character traits in some way or another. May 9th, rain. Stared out the window all day. Peaceful here. Nothing to do. Still not allowed to go outside. May 10th. Still raining. Talked with the doctor a little. Would they have saved me if I didn't have a family to feed? I know I'm pathetic. Weak. Not everyone can be strong. The meds made me feel sick today. If I'm only better when I'm drugged, then who am I anyway? May 12th. Rain as usual. I don't want to cause any more trouble for anyone, but I'm a bother either way. Can it really be such a sin to run instead of fight? Some people may say so, but they don't have to live in my shoes. It may be selfish, but it's what I want. It's too hard like this. It's just too hard. May 13th. It's clear outside. The doctors told me I've been released, that I've got to go home. The diary ends here. There are no more entries. What was a diary doing up here? So what happened to this guy? It kind of does sound like Mary in a way. Just trapped in a room. Doctors telling her about her condition. She may get to go home, you know, for a day, enjoy herself. Just like the man in the journal, James meets an abrupt fate. We actually have to heal ourselves up to full here. Yep, exactly. And this is another thing, actually. I think I just walked right past it in that playthrough I did for the channel, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a note on the wall here next to Joseph's cell. Yeah, see, it's like, it really felt like I was looking at the note there, but it just entered the cell anyway. Very easy to miss stuff like this. So easy. So easy. Something is written on the wall. If Joseph looks calm, he can be taken out of his cell. It's not like it's super critical information or anything like that. Yeah. Yeah, just casually holding a chainsaw. You gotta wonder if James really is holding on to a chainsaw right now, or if he's just got his hands in a position where he's holding a chainsaw. It's like the same thing with the pistol. If he's just make-believe shooting things. Or maybe he's just passed out somewhere in a corner. Who knows? This is all just legitimately totally in his head. Still passed out in the car in the parking lot. There's something written on the wall. Yeah. So that's clearly 2812 this time. Sometimes the letters can be, or the numbers rather, can be very hard to read. They're all smeared and... Turn the numbers. Better not forget them. So I'll write them down here. The other one, my secret name. So his secret name is probably James. Joseph Barkin. It's another one of the stock patients here with a first name beginning with J. Alright, so will these creatures still be dead? Looks that way. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. both, James, my friend. I love how this stuff is dead now, because we put in the effort to clear it all. Okay, so 2812, right? Yep. There's nothing inside the box. No, I'm wrong. There are a few hairs inside. I got a piece of hair. So are you still watching on your phone, man? Are you, you out of the house? Oh, you're on your PC now. Okay, good. Audio levels still sound good? Sounds okay? Obviously better than last time. Okay, gotcha. Great. Glad to hear it. Okay, so now we can combine the bent needle and the piece of hair that we found in Joseph's box. Newly acquired piece of hair here. Quite valuable. Got an elevator key. All right. So we'll save once more. I don't know. That's a good question. Okay. We can almost put the chainsaw away for a minute. Actually, we can put it away. Right now. Man, I think when you take Pyramid Head's helmet off, it's like a demented, like, warped version of James's head. That's kind of what I imagine. breathing sound. Alright, so we don't have... I don't think we're gonna have enough shotgun shells to kill this boss. I think we're gonna have to switch to pistol. But we should be okay. Oh, we got some more shells right there. I think we'll be okay. Maybe we will have enough. It'll be close. The bosses just have so much damn HP on hard action. It can be tedious. Yeah. That would be befitting, wouldn't it? If it looked that way. I think it's just James, it's like a mixture. Pyramid Head is an embodiment of the executioners of the town of old. The spirits of the town, the executioner spirits, as well as James himself. It's both an executioner and James. It's a bit unique. Yes, you know, compared to the other entities of the town. It's not totally imagined by James, I don't think. I think it's a bit more, you know, a bit more controlled by the town in that sense. The executioners are such a critical part of this, you know, this story, doling out the punishment that James needs to receive here. And we can see these teddy bears, so we know Laura is definitely nearby.
Laura?
Huh? You know my name?
Eddie told me.
That big fat blabbermouth.
How do you know about Mary?
What's the big deal?
Why can't you just tell me?
You gonna yell at me if I don't?
No, I won't.
I was friends with Mary. We met at the hospital. It was last year.
You liar! Laura,
Fine, don't believe me.
But last year, Mary was already... I'm sorry, Laura. Anyway, let's go. We can talk about this later. This is no place for a kid. There are all sorts of strange things around here. I can't believe you haven't even gotten a scratch on you.
Why should I?
I love that scene. Again, James just freezes up. He's like physically repressing his memories.
Wait! There's something I gotta get.
Later, okay?
But it's really important.
What is it?
A letter from Mary.
Huh?
I wanna go get it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Come on, hurry up.
Is it in there?
This is one of those scenes that always makes me facepalm.
Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, all the way in the back, James. Get all the way in the back now. All the way. It's all the way in the back, James. Yeah.
What are you doing, Laura?
It's further back in the desk.
Further back, James. Dumbass.
Laura! What are you doing?
you.
Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Huh? Do ya? What's the magic word?
Laura?
Okay, I guess I won't open it. I think I'll just leave you like this.
You snotty little brat! Open up!
Why, you...
Laura?
You hurt me!
Yeah, that scene, it kind of reminds me of, like, James is just so stupid in that scene. You have to be an idiot to fall for that. It reminds me of The Silence of the Lambs. What is it? Like, it's like the senator's daughter, or like the governor's daughter, or something like that. That gets kidnapped by Buffalo Bill, and he's like waiting for her in the parking lot. He's like trying to like put some couch in the back of his van, and he's acting like he's disabled, and she goes over to help him. And he's like, yeah, get all the way in the back, all the way in the back of the van. Yeah, can you push that all the way in the back? She's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then she just gets snatched up. She gets kidnapped. How dumb can you possibly be? So basically, like, I wait for them to get as close as they possibly can. It seems like, and I wouldn't bet my life on this or anything, but I'm pretty sure that the closer enemies are to you, the more damage they take from the shotgun. Kind of like one of them's on one side of the room, the other one's on the other side. They're not making this easy on me at all. Shells left. Oh no. One shell left to deal with the final one. Man, this is awful. love that transition. All of a sudden, we're just outside. Like, the camera just spins, and we become disoriented, and then it goes into that, clearly a nod to Jacob's Ladder, which, you know, influenced this game. That was their nod to Jacob's Ladder, where Jacob Singer is being rolled down a gurney in this hospital scene towards, like, the middle to the end of the movie. Yeah, the siren, yeah, so good. Kind of signals that change of, the changing of into the other world, or a dynamic shift. I love how we just end up outside. We're just boxed in out here. It's just a square area outdoors, and it just starts raining. Never actually seen Jacob's Ladder. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a fantastic movie or anything. I own it. I didn't even know it existed until this game, and I heard that it inspired this game. I think it's worth watching because you're a fan of this game, because you love the game. I'd say it's worth watching. I don't think you're gonna think it's like phenomenal or anything, but you can see a lot of ideas in it that inspired this game. A lot of horror ideas, you know. So I think this is a pretty good opportunity to AFK for a few minutes, grab a drink, use the restroom. Let's see how smoothly I can do this.